Right now, as you're watching this, there is a substance running through your veins that scientists have been arguing about for over 100 years. And if you happen to be type O positive, you're carrying something that nearly 40% of the entire human population also carries, which sounds common, almost boring, right? But here's the twist. The most common blood type on Earth might also be the most misunderstood. Doctors call it the universal donor, like it's some kind of superpower. Anthropologists say it might be the oldest blood type in human history, older than agriculture, older than cities, maybe even older than language itself. And a growing pile of research says this blood type could be quietly shaping your risk of heart disease, how mosquitoes treat you on a summer night, and even how your body reacts to a virus. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to look at a simple blood test result completely differently. Let's start with the basics, because you can't understand the strange part until you understand the normal part. Blood type isn't just a label on your driver's license or something a nurse mentions before a transfusion. It's actually a code written on the surface of your red blood cells. Type A has one marker, type B has another, type AB has both, and type O has neither. That absence is exactly why O blood is so valuable in emergencies. Since it has no A or B markers for the immune system to attack, O negative blood can be given to almost anyone in a crisis. O positive, the version most people actually have, works almost as broadly, especially for other Rh positive patients, which covers the vast majority of the population. In disaster response, in the back of ambulances, in military field hospitals, O positive and O negative blood are the ones doctors reach for first when there's no time to check a chart. It is, quite literally, blood built for emergencies. But here's where it gets strange. If type O is neither the strongest nor the rarest, why does it dominate the human population? Why is it the type most likely to show up in remote populations, in isolated tribes, in some of the oldest skeletal DNA ever recovered? Some researchers believe type O may be the ancestral blood type of our species, the original setting, if you will, before mutations gave rise to A and B thousands of years later. Picture early humans, long before written history, hunting, migrating, surviving disease outbreaks with immune systems that hadn't yet branched into the variety we see today. If that theory holds, then everyone walking around with type A or B blood is essentially carrying a genetic remix of something that started as O. That alone should make you pause. Your blood type might be a message from tens of thousands of years ago, still being copied and passed down, generation after generation, all the way to you. Now let's talk about the part that keeps popping up in medical journals and sparking debate. Multiple studies over the past 2 decades have looked at whether blood type correlates with disease risk. And the word there is important: correlates, not causes. Nobody is saying your blood type controls your destiny, but the patterns are strange enough that researchers keep studying them. Some large population studies have found that people with type O blood tend to have a slightly lower risk of certain cardiovascular problems compared to people with A, B, or AB blood. The leading theory involves a clotting protein called von Willebrand factor. People with type O tend to have lower levels of it, which may mean slightly less sticky blood, which may translate into a modestly reduced risk of blood clots. On the flip side, some research has suggested type O individuals might have a slightly higher risk of certain other conditions, including some stomach ulcers linked to a specific bacteria. Nothing here is a guarantee, and nothing here should replace an actual conversation with a doctor. But the fact that a molecule sitting on the surface of a blood cell could nudge these odds at all is exactly the kind of thing that keeps hematologists up at night. Then there's the mosquito thing. You've probably heard someone at a barbecue complain that bugs love them, while everyone else stays bite-free. It turns out blood type might actually play a role in that. Small studies, including research published in the Journal of Medical Entomology, have found that mosquitoes landed on people with type O blood significantly more often than people with type A blood in controlled testing environments. Scientists think it may come down to chemical signals in sweat and skin that are influenced by blood type genetics, essentially tiny scent signatures mosquitoes can detect. So if you're O positive and you've spent your whole life feeling personally targeted by every mosquito in a 5-mile radius, there might actually be biology behind that, not just bad luck. And then there's the part of this story that made global headlines a few years back, the connection between blood type and infectious disease. During major viral outbreak research, including studies tied to COVID-19, scientists observed differences in infection rates and severity across blood types. Several early studies suggested people with type O blood may have had a somewhat lower likelihood of severe illness compared to people with type A blood, though later larger studies produced mixed and sometimes contradictory results. This is still an active area of research, and scientists are careful to say the effect, if it's real at all, appears to be modest, not something that should change anyone's safety behavior. But the underlying question is fascinating on its own. Could the same molecular differences that determine whether you can donate blood to a stranger also determine how well a virus can grab onto your cells in the first place? That's the kind of question that turns blood type from a piece of trivia into a genuine field of ongoing scientific investigation. Here's another angle almost nobody talks about. Blood type isn't just about you. It's a genetic paper trail connecting you to your parents, your grandparents, and generations before them you'll never meet. Two parents who are both type O can only, biologically, produce type O children. It is one of the few traits in human genetics with rules simple enough that people have used it, historically, to settle paternity questions long before modern DNA testing existed. In a strange way, your blood type is one of the most honest pieces of information your body carries, incapable of lying, unaffected by lifestyle, diet, or the environment. It was decided the moment you were conceived, and it will never change for the rest of your life. So, where does all of this leave us? Type O positive blood is common, yes, nearly 40% of people share it with you. But common doesn't mean simple, and common definitely doesn't mean boring. It's a blood type tied to ancient human survival, valued in every emergency room on the planet, studied for its subtle links to heart health, targeted more often by mosquitoes, and investigated in some of the biggest infectious disease research of the last several years. It's a genetic fingerprint from your ancestors, written in a code your body has carried since before you took your first breath. None of this means your blood type defines your health destiny. Genetics load the gun, but lifestyle, environment, and medical care still pull the trigger, or don't. What it does mean is that something as ordinary as a blood test, the kind you might get once a year without a second thought, is connected to a much bigger story about human history, human survival, and the ongoing scientific effort to understand why our bodies work the way they do. If you found this as fascinating as I did researching it, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because there are stranger stories about the human body still to come, and you won't want to miss them. Drop a comment and let me know your blood type. I'm genuinely curious how many of you watching this are O positive too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.